So it is a well-known fact about me that I like personality quizzes. I just do. Like, do I think that they should be the be-all, end-all of, you know, deciding who a person is? No. But I think they are helpful in being, like, insightful into a person. Like, personally, I take personality quizzes because I find that it helps me to... I'm at a point in my life where I'm still trying to figure out who I am as a person. You know, I think we all are at that point, always. But, I mean, doing these personality quizzes helps me to see parts of myself and put it into words, you know? I just find them interesting and helpful for me. I think some of them really do work and have good qualities. Some don't. Anyways, I wanted to do a little video series where I just take a bunch of personality quizzes because I find that fun and interesting to watch other people do, so maybe some people find it interesting for me to do it. This is definitely really inspired by the series that Hannah Witten just did on her channel called Who Am I, where she does this exact thing where she goes through and does personality quizzes, and I am going to do a lot of the same ones that she does. I feel like I'm copying her, but at the same time I think it's just an interesting idea for a series, and this is my almost response to it, like, you know, I want to do it too. Also, I doubt that like anyone will ever see this anyways, so who cares? I'm just gonna do it. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm going to talk about the MBTI test of my type. I'm not going to actually do the test because I've done it pretty recently, so I already know what type I am, so I'm just going to talk about that. And then I'm also going to do the Enneagram test, which is one that a lot of people like, but it's not really my favorite only because I don't really understand it that well. I've taken this test like 3 times, and every single time I forget what type I am, like immediately after I take it. So I'm going to do it again and see what happens. First we'll talk about the MBTI, the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, I think what it's called. I'm sure if you're watching this you're probably familiar with it. It's kind of one of the more well-known ones. MBTI basically sorts you into different binaries and you get like 4 of them. Which is, I think, a flaw with it is that it does kind of rely on binaries, but there's like a lot of combinations you can get. So you get 4 letters, and each of these letters will be like one of 2 things. So you're either introverted or extroverted, you're either intuitive or sensing, you're either a thinker or a feeler, and then you're either a judger or a perceiver. So personally, I used to be an INFJ, but then I recently took the test and found out I was an INFP. So to break down what that means, first is the introverted side, which is clearly what I am. I don't think I need to explain this too much. People know what introverts and extroverts are. I am very introverted. I get my energy from being alone. Like, I mean, I obviously do hang out with friends. I do like being around people, but it tends to tire me out. And so to like renew that energy, I need like my alone space. The next is the N, which is for intuitive, which according to the thing that I'm looking at means intuitives focus on the big picture and possibilities, admire creative ideas, notice things that are new or different, are inventive and see what could be, think about future implications, trust their gut instincts, prefer to learn new skills, like to figure things out for themselves, and work in bursts of energy, which is true of me. I have problems working out one thing for a very long time because I only get like those bursts of energy to do things. The other side of this is sensors, and they're more pragmatic and practical and, you know, do things step by step, can work at an established pace, as it says, which is not quite me. The next is the F, which is for feelers. They decide based on their feelings, they appear warm and friendly, are convinced by how they feel, are diplomatic and tactful, value harmony and compassion, take many things personally, which is me, are quick to compliment others, are motivated by appreciation, and avoid arguments and conflicts, which is me. I think the main thing about feelers is that, yes, you make decisions based on like a heart decision rather than a head decision, you know? Whereas thinkers are more cool and practical and, you know, think with their heads more than their hearts. Thinkers are more convinced by rational arguments, don't take things personally, and like to argue or debate issues for fun, which is definitely not me. And then we get to the last letter, which is the one that's changed for me, and I can see why it's changed. So I used to be an INFJ, and J is for judgers, and they like to have things settled, they take responsibility seriously, they pay attention to time, prefer to finish projects, work first, play later, seek closure, need the most rules, like to make and stick with plans, and find comfort in schedules. Those last 2 are important because that's what I used to be like. Especially in like high school, I was like definitely like schedules and, you know, having things in order and planning things out. Like, I definitely used to need plans. Like, if one of my friends wanted to go out on the weekend, I needed to know like a week in advance. Like, I could not do like on the fly plans. It just made me like stressed. But in recent years, I have totally switched that. Like, now I am very much kind of a go with the flow. I don't need to like have things planned in advance. I'll just figure it out as we go along kind of person, which I think is a positive improvement for me because it means I'm less anxious about certain things. I'm more anxious about others, but not about like plans. So yeah, for the P is for perceivers. They like to keep their options open, are playful and casual, are less aware of time, may run late. Yes, I am very much not aware of time ever. They prefer to start projects rather than finish them, which is also me. I have so many like writing works in progress that I have started and like never finished. Play first, work later, also definitely me. Have difficulty making some decisions, question the need for many rules, like to keep plans flexible, and want the freedom to be spontaneous. Which I think, even in the past, I was definitely more some of those first categories, but ever since I got into university, definitely more of a P. Like that's basically just me in a nutshell. So yeah, I'm an INFP. So according to the 16 Personalities website, which I actually kind of like, this is where I've taken the test before, they take the types and put them into like categories, like there's 4 separate categories, and I as an INFP am in the diplomats section, which as you can see kind of looks like fantasy-ish. So they take me as a mediator. Poetic, kind, and altruistic people, always eager to help a good cause. Mediator personalities are true idealists, always looking for the hint of good in even the worst people and events, searching for ways to make things better. That's true. I do like to tend to see the good in situations and people, rather than be cynical. While they may be perceived as calm, reserved, or even shy, mediators have an inner flame and passion that can truly shine. When they find like-minded people to spend their time with, the harmony they feel will be a fountain of joy and inspiration. Oh, I like that. For some reason they put the Tolkien quote, "All that is gold does not glitter, not all those who wander are lost. The old that is strong does not wither, deep roots are not reached by the frost," in here, which I love because I love Lord of the Rings and I love that quote. I feel seen, you know? Fantasy worlds in particular fascinate mediators more than any other personality type. The strength of their visionary communication style lends itself well to creative works, and it comes as no surprise that many famous mediators are poets, writers, and actors. Understanding themselves and their place in the world is important to mediators, and they explore these ideas by projecting themselves into their work. Very much me. As you can see, understanding myself is very important to me, which is why I'm doing this series. Listen to many people, but talk to few. That is me. So then they have lists of like people, both real and like fictional, who are, they type as the same type. So mediators you may know. J.R.R. Tolkien. Cool. Shakespeare. Bjork. Alicia Keys. Tom Hiddleston. Julia Roberts. William Wordsworth. Johnny Depp. Ooh. Frodo Baggins. Hey, my guy! Arwen from Lord of the Rings. Fox Mulder from The X-Files. And from Anne of Green Gables! Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay. I have definitely seen this before, but I forgot that she was in that, and I love that because I've always related to her and just found her really cool. So it makes me happy to see that we are the same personality type. Sybil Branson from Downton Abbey. Sybil was my favorite Downton Abbey character. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's my personality type. Let me know what your Myers-Briggs is. What I do like about Myers-Briggs is that you can see the differences in the letters, so you can kind of like, if you know what each letter stands for, you can kind of piece together someone's personality from those things. When they tell you what type they are. But now on to Enneagrams. I don't know if you can tell, I'm trying to like talk fast and record quickly because I need to go to school soon. Ooh, can you hear my computer running really loudly? Yikes. I'm trying to screen record and it does not like that, apparently. So like I've said, I have taken the Enneagram before. I just don't remember what I got. The Enneagram is different because there's 9 types, and each type is kind of, it gets to the core of like your wants and fears as a person. So it's just a different way of looking at personalities by like kind of your core desires and like anxieties and stuff, I guess. A lot of people like really rave about it and love it, but I don't know that it's my favorite, probably just because I don't understand it that well. But I do think it definitely is interesting. I don't know that much about the types. Like some people know it well enough that they can like sort people into types, just like people would with Hogwarts houses, but I don't know them that well, so I'm gonna find out. It's interesting with Enneagram because like your type can change depending on your, like how you're feeling. Like if you're feeling really like stressed, it can change your type to something else for that period of time, which is weird, but I guess it makes sense. The test I am taking is not the like official Enneagram one from the Enneagram Institute because you have to pay for that, and I didn't feel like doing that. So I'm just taking the one that I've taken before, Eclectic Energies Enneagram Tests. If you just Google free Enneagram test, it's one of the first ones that pops up. So I'm gonna take this, and we're going to see what type I am. So you can see they have a statement and then they have yes, no, and partly for your answers. So you can kind of just click how much you agree with it or how much it applies to you. And I don't know how many pages there are. There's like 14 pages of this. So I'm going to try and do this quickly and then get back to you. Alright, so I took the test and now I'm going to get my results and see what type I am. I am most likely a type 6, taking wings into account, which is the thing I haven't talked about yet, but I seem to be a 6 with a 5 wing. So wing is kind of like, I don't really know how it works, but sometimes, I think it's just basically you sometimes exhibit traits of this other type as well. The type 6, let's read about this, is the loyalist. Conflicted between trust and distrust. People of this personality type essentially feel insecure, as though there's nothing quite steady enough to hold on to. At the core of the type 6 personality is a kind of fear or anxiety. Yes. I remember this now. I am a type 6. I've gotten this multiple times because every time I always feel just disappointed. I'm like, So what, my type is just the anxiety monster? Because yeah, I mean, yes. This anxiety has a very deep source and can manifest in a variety of different styles, making sixes somewhat difficult to describe into type. What all sixes have in common, however, is the fear rooted at the center of their personality, which manifests in worrying and restless imaginings of everything that might go wrong. Ugh. Sixes don't trust easily. They are often ambivalent about others until the person has absolutely proven herself, at which point they are likely to respond with steadfast loyalty. The loyalty of the six is something of a two-edged sword, however, as sixes are sometimes prone to stand by a friend, partner, or job, or cause, even long after it's time to move on. Sixes are generally looking for something or someone to believe in. This, combined with their general suspiciousness, gives rise to a complicated relationship to authority. The side of the six which is looking for something to believe in is often very susceptible to the temptation to turn authority over to an external source, whether it be in the form of an individual or a creed. But the six's tendency towards distrust and suspicion works against any sort of faith in authority, which I guess I kind of get. Like, I always feel the need for authority to approve of me, and like I always need that validation from people in charge, even if I don't really like them that much. But at the same time, I can be like, I feel like some people shouldn't have power, you know, like I do feel that. There are two fundamentally different strategies that sixes adopt for dealing with fear. Some sixes are basically phobic. Phobic sixes are generally compliant, affiliative, and cooperative. Other sixes adopt the opposite strategy of dealing with fear and become counterphobic, essentially taking a defiant stand against whatever they find threatening. From that description, I'm definitely phobic. I'm not very defiant. Basically, yes, I am motivated by anxiety, is what this test is telling me, which that always, like, is just disappointing to hear. Because as an anxious person, I always want to be told, oh no, there's more to you than just, like, you're worrying, but apparently, according to the Enneagram, there's not, which is maybe why I don't like it, because it just personally feels like it's attacking me. Even though I know it's not, that's not what it's saying, but ugh. And I have a wing of type 5, which, what is that? The investigator. Thinkers who tend to withdraw and observe. People of this personality type essentially fear that they don't have enough inner strength to face life, so they tend to withdraw, to retreat into the safety and security of the mind where they can mentally prepare for their emergence into the world. That actually sounds a lot more like me. Fives feel comfortable and at home in the realm of thought. Many fives are drawn to the humanities, and it is not at all uncommon for fives to have artistic inclinations. Fives are sensitive, they don't feel adequately defended against the world. Fives are usually somewhat restrained when it comes to emotional expression, but they often have stronger feelings than they let on. Because of their sensitivity and their fears of inadequacy, fives fear being overwhelmed, either by the demands of others or by the strength of their own emotions. They sometimes deal with this by developing a minimalist lifestyle in which they make few demands on others in exchange for few demands being made on them. That sounds a lot like me, and like the fact that for the past 4 years of my university degree, I've like just done my schoolwork and gone to work, like my actual job, and like not really done anything else because I'm like, I can't deal with like going to clubs and having like to do a social life outside of those two things. So it's like, you only get two, pick two. That's what my brain's been like, because otherwise I can't handle the stress, apparently. So that is what I tend to do when I get like kind of stressed out. I tend to just like drop as many things as possible and do as little as possible. So what I'm getting from this is that I feel like I'm just a mixture of type 5 and 6. I know that it said like I'm a wing with 5. I think since I've taken the test so many times that and it's giving me 6, that like, maybe I'm a 6. Maybe this test just sucks, the one that I'm taking. I don't know. I've never taken the official one. So there you go. If you know more about the Enneagram or more interested in it than I am, then this will probably mean more to you. But what we've learned from the Enneagram is that I'm just an anxious person who likes to be withdrawn, which it's just like embarrassing almost. I don't know. I don't like the results that I've been given, so I'm just gonna like stop this because it's making me upset. So let me know what type you guys are, both of the MBTI and Enneagram. It probably won't mean much to me, but I can look it up and, you know, we can talk about it. And if you have any more insights into my types that I didn't get to in this video, then let me know, because I like to know more about myself, and maybe you can expand more than this website did. And that would be helpful. Alright, so thank you guys for watching, and tune in for the next video when I will probably be doing another type of personality quiz / personality marker thing. We'll see. Alright, I'll see you guys then. Goodbye.